Today on Ask This Old House.
Roger, I really need your help.
These trees are taking over a backyard. I'll show you how to cut them down to size.
And I'm going to show you an easy way to install a brand new kitchen backsplash.
We are going to have some fun along the way.
What is it?
I know exactly.
You do?
Yeah.
You make
You
it
ever
up.
want to spray paint with some spray paint?
That's what I usually use. That's next on Ask This Old House.
Lived here for about 22 years. Got this great big privacy hedge at the end of my property, separating my pool from my neighbor's yard. I love it. This thing is grown and it's so out of control. I have trimmed it, cut it back. I've tried to wire these branches back to keep them from falling forward. This thing is like a giant weed. It's just out of control. What I used to have here when I would trim this thing nice and flat, level straight across, it was flat across the top, and a great big rectangle, a nice wall of hedge. And now I've got like the Leaning Tower of Pisa over here. I've got all kinds of crazy things hanging over. It's like a jungle here. This is. Try getting into the pool in a bathing suit, wear this thing on your head. The branches are so thick in some instances. Well, look at this thing. The hedge trimmer doesn't work. Roger, I really need your help.
Russ, what you have here is a tree called an arborvitae. Now, it's a great tree for screening because it gets thick. But the problem is it wants to get 40 or 50 feet tall and can get as much as 20 feet wide planted out in a wide open space.
Wow.
Obviously, that's a problem here because it's going to grow into this area. The other problem with arborvitaes is they're multi-stemmed. You look up here, you see that one that's bent over?
Yep.
That was from the snow load this winter, and it's just bent the branch down.
Right.
But if you look in here, this one bent so far down that it's actually split off the main trunk, and we're going to have to remove it. Now, I have a question for you. I see all these red wires in here. What is this?
But as you said, the branches bend over, and those were my attempt to try and straighten them out and support the branches, which I haven't done too good a job at,
No,
honestly.
but I'm here today. I'll show you how to support them properly, but it all starts with cutting those wires out.
Right.
This is the reason you don't use wire to tie the branches up. That's so tight around this branch that it's girdling it. You can see how it's swollen on this side?
Yep.
It's trying to grow over the wire so it can stay alive. But this is going to be a weak point, and also the branch could die. So I need you to cut all that wire out of there.
Holy mackerel. Roger, this is easier said than done.
Well, you're the one who put them up. All right, here's the last piece of wire. Let's put that in the recycling. Now, the wire is bad for the trees. Let me show you the right thing to use on the trees, and that's this plastic half-inch locking tree tie. What we do is we take it, we bring it around the branch, make a nice loop, then bring it through the hole and turn it, and it just locks right into place.
Oh, that's easy.
Now we're just going to pull up and put it on a larger branch, and it'll support that without rubbing into the trunk or hurting the trunk. So we got some small branches we can use the half-inch on, but for the larger branches up top, we're going to have to use this 1-inch wide one because there's a lot of weight up there. Russ, if we tried to get up in here with a step ladder, we couldn't get close to the work because the foliage is so thick we'd be on the outside looking in.
Right.
But with an orchard ladder, we can get inside. It's a regular ladder on one side. On the other side, it just has a post. And it just sets down like that so I can get right into the tree where I want to go to work. I'm going to bring this one over here and just set it up, and then we're going to go up and pull this branch back. All right, I'm going to place the tree tie right around the trunk here. Lock it in place, leaving plenty of room for the tree to grow. Okay, now I'm locked in. You're wrapped around that other branch?
Yep, all wrapped.
I'm going to pull back, and you just got to cinch up.
Okay.
Keep going. Okay.
Is that far enough?
Yep. You got it tight?
Yep, got it tight.
Cut it off. Now you want to bring it up and lock it right in, okay? Bring it up. Leave a loop. Come up higher towards me. One more towards me.
One more.
Got it through?
Oh, come on. Easier said than done. There we
you
go.
go. Beautiful. Look at that.
Awesome.
While we're here, let's use the rest to pull this one in a little bit, okay?
Yep. Okay, do the bottom over there first?
Yep. But put it in here so it's away from the tree.
Put it down here.
Yep. Okay, now cut off the excess. All right, I'm going to bring the tree lock through there around my main branch. I don't want to put it in this crotch because if I pull on that, I could split it. So I'm going to come just below it with a good-sized loop. Lock it in place. Pull my branch up where I want it to stay. And we're just going to cut this off. Put it through the loop.
Is that too far back?
No, just pull it. You got to pull it through, way through. There you go, till it's tight. Good.
Is that okay?
Yeah, yep. There we go. Nice.
This stuff is great. It's so easy.
Okay? Good holding it?
Yeah, it's going to position it right up high.
Yeah.
How's that?
Cut it off, make it look nice and neat.
Yep.
All right, I think it's starting to look pretty good. We've tied it back as far as we can. It's time to start pruning.
I think it looks great. Pruning. Let's go.
Oh, hold up a second, big guy. I hate hedge trimmers. Let me show you why. Take a look at this branch. This is where you came by with the trimmers, and it just cut indiscriminately. Look at all the growth that's coming in behind it. All the buds have popped. When it does that, it makes a thick, thick wall like this, and you don't get any growth inside. So you can't cut these back any farther. You have to cut them in the same place year after year, and they continue to grow out. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some hand pruning. You got a branch like this that's sticking out almost a foot beyond the hedge. You can't make a cut, just come into the middle of a stem and make a cut like that. It'll take 3 or 4 years for that to sprout out, or it'll die. So what we want to find is a spot where there's already new growth. See all the new growth right here? Mm-hmm. So we're going to just take the pruners. We're going to make a cut there. This will become the dominant branch. These will fill in. All the sunlight can come in here. We'll get new growth.
Wow.
So we're going to take the hand pruners and just go along and work our way, cutting everything back. These things are just ready to start growing, and they're going to fill in here really, really quickly.
Roger, what do I do with something like this? It just looks stupid. I just trimmed off a piece on the top, and I've still got this thing.
Well, you've got room to prune it more, so we could always prune it here, but that probably wouldn't help you. How about down right here where there's green growth right there? I'm just going to take the pruners. That better?
Oh, yeah. Oh, much better.
Okay, get going.
I really feel like I'm just making holes.
Well, that's what you're supposed to be doing, so that's a good thing. That's just going to allow the sunlight in and make your hedge thicker and stronger. Up in the top here, I'm making some pretty good sized cut. That branch is almost 1 inch in diameter. So what I have to use is this pole pruner. You put the branch inside the hook, pull down on the rope, and it cuts it off clean, and it'll make short work of those big diameter branches.
Wow, Roger, I can't believe how much stuff we cut off these bushes.
Well, look at the holes we made in here. That's going to allow sunlight to go in. The plant's going to start growing on the inside. In a year or two, we can cut these back even farther.
Wow, wow. It's a little bit more work than I thought it was using the hand trimmer than the way I was doing it before, but...
Look at these plants. They're all nice and fluffy and loose. Throw those hedge trimmers away.
I will. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate your help.
I had a great time.
That was awesome.
All right, guys, here we go. It's green, it's plastic, it has 4 legs on it, but here's the giveaway. It spins.
Ooh.
What is it?
I know exactly what it is.
You going?
Yeah, it's a paint sprayer. Who wouldn't know what it is? Figures. This allows you to spray any kind of paint. Oil-based, latex, acrylic, red. Yeah. And also you don't have to go to the hardware store and buy those aerosol cans. You don't got to worry about the ozone thing. So you pour the paint right into that little hole right there.
Yeah.
The boson, yeah. So now that it's full, all right, now you take it and you spin it. So that spinning comes into play. You turn it. A centrifugal force forces the paint out of that little hole.
Centrifugal force.
You're
Big
close.
word, Tommy. Big word.
You're close on the spinning.
I know, I'm very close.
It used to be you toss the salad. Now a salad is nothing if it's not spun. So you open this up, you throw in your arugula, your regular romaine.
Bib.
The bib lettuce, anything. Mixed greens. You put that in, and up here you can put your dressings. You can pick French, Russian, Italian. You can throw in a little Parmesan peppercorn that's to die for. That is so good.
That stuff.
So once you get it in there, you spin this baby, and every leaf is covered perfectly with dressing.
Really?
Yeah.
Guess what?
No paint.
Not at all. This is actually for getting rid of bugs in the garden, okay? Now, there's a lot of ways you can do it, right? You can do catch and release. You
to your neighbor's yard?
You can treat them with chemicals, or with this, you can scare the bejesus out of them, right? It's actually a giant ladybug.
Oh, that'll cause nightmares.
Right? What do you think the ant's going to do when this guy comes up to him? He will run. How about this? Why
There's
are
a
you
bug. There's a bug on your head.
Why is he hitting me?
Guys, this is actually a squirrel-proof bird feeder.
Another one?
Another one. You fill it with seed. When the squirrels come and try to get on this, it bends and they can't stay there. It's all right for the birds, but the biggest thing is when they try to climb down, it spins right around.
They fall to their death.
They land gently on the ground.
Covered in Parmesan peppercorn dressing.
Well, we finished this kitchen 3 years ago, or I should say we almost finished it. We did everything except for the backsplash. My wife thought that a tile backsplash would really help tie in a lot of the different elements of the kitchen, but when it comes to tile, I felt a little bit intimidated, so I wasn't sure how far do we go up, how do we cut around the outlets, how do we make sure that everything is nice and level and lined up correctly, because if I make a mistake, I'm going to be looking at this every single day. So I'm not sure I'm the right person to do this job on my own. I think I could use a little bit of help.
All right, Nathan, here's a tile that you picked for your backsplash. It's very nice. It's actually a mosaic tile, which means it's a bunch of little pieces of tile. That tile is held together with this mesh on the back. which makes it a lot easier when installing it to the wall. There's also a couple of different tile in here. There's some glass tile and this travertine right here, which is actually a limestone. And it's really a nice look.
Thank you. We chose this tile because we thought the colors tied in nicely with the countertops and the cabinets.
And I agree. Now, normally when installing tile to a wall, it can be a little intimidating. We're going to simplify that today. So usually when you take a thin set mortar or a mastic, you use a trowel and you apply it to the wall. Then you got to make it nice and smooth because we're going to use glass. We're going to simplify that. We're actually going to use this right here. This is a tile adhesive on a roll. It's actually like a big roll of two-faced tape, and we'll stick the tile to that. We're also going to take the tile and we're going to cut it into strips like that so we can go up your wall with about a 5.5-inch backsplash.
That'll make it a lot easier so we don't have to cut around these outlet covers.
It sure will. All right, let's get started by installing our tile adhesive on a wall. Now the chalk line will give us a nice straight line to follow, and we could cut the tile adhesive using a pair of scissors, but I'm going to actually use a utility knife with a straight edge. Lay it on here like this, take a measurement. I'm going to mark this here, down here. Again, I'll just follow my straight edge. All right, there's our first piece. And we'll cut one more. Now we're ready to apply it to the wall. We're going to start right here in the corner where the bar top meets the countertop. First thing I did is I notched the corner of the adhesive to go under the nosing of the bar top. Next thing I want to do is I want to peel away this membrane to expose the adhesive on the tape. I just want to pull away a little bit so I can first line it up. Now I'll position it on the wall just a little bit below my line, bring it into the corner. Okay, make sure I'm lining up with the line. Now Nathan, you just want to pull that straight, and I'm going to start exposing some of the adhesive off the back by pulling this tape away. And I'm going to pull it away a little bit at a time. I'm going to line it up, keep it a little below the line. I want to keep it nice and flat. We don't want to have any bubbles or creases in it. All right, now a piece under the bar top here. Get it into the corner first. Get started. All right, now we're going to start laying out the tile. We're going to cut the height first. To do that, I'm going to hold it up against the wall, and I want to stop right here at this row, which is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 rows up. So hold my finger right there, flip it around. I'm going to cut this mesh right there with my utility knife. Okay, now there's our first piece. That looks good. Now we'll cut some more. All of our tile are cut to the right height of the backsplash. Now the next thing I need to do is create a straight line on the end. Now I could cut individual pieces and fit them in here, giving me a straight line. But I think what I want to do is cut off these pieces using my wet saw and then butt it up against the cabinet. The stone tile on each sheet will absorb water when you cut it on the wet saw, so it's very important that you let the stone dry out, or it will not stick to the mat. All right, so now we're ready to apply the tile to the wall. First thing I want to do is remove our coating, exposing the adhesive. I want to make sure that I have an even grout line along the countertop. So I'm going to use my metal ruler as a spacer and lay the tile on it. Now I want to position the first piece using very little pressure. That way if I have to reposition it, I can. Once it's in position, I push it firmly against the mat to set it in place.
And that's all it takes to hold it to the wall?
That's all it takes. expose some more adhesive. I'm eyeballing the joints between each sheet, making them consistent. Another nice thing about this tile adhesive, we can grout the tile right away. If we used a thin set or a mastic, we would have to wait overnight for the mastic to dry. We're also going to use a pre-mixed grout with a rubber float. I'm just dig into the bucket, put some on my trowel, and apply it to the wall. Right along the tape, forcing it right into that lower edge. I usually like to apply the grout to the tile wall going diagonally, but this backsplash is pretty short. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work it back and forth to make sure I'm into the joint nice and tight. Good job. Force it right in there. Down low and up high, right against the countertop and right up against the underside of the bar top. Force it right in there.
I think I'm getting the hang of this.
I think you are too. It looks good. All right, we've let our grout set up for about 5 or 10 minutes. Now we're going to take a sponge and some clean water and wipe off the surface of the tile, cleaning the excess grout away.
Looks like it's coming out really nicely.
It's going to be nice. This grout will really make that tile pop once it's cleaned.
So how wet should the sponge be?
Well, enough water to soften the grout that's on the surface, but not too much water to wash the grout out of the joint. Well, what do you think, Nate?
Wow, Tommy, the countertop looks fantastic up against this tile.
I agree. It really does look good. In about 4 or 5 hours, when the grout dries, you're going to notice a haze on the tile. Just take a damp cloth like this, or even a damp sponge, and keep wiping it until that haze goes away, and the tile will shine.
Well, it already looks fantastic.
Well, it does. And it wasn't that hard, was it?
No, not at all, but I really appreciate your help.
It was my pleasure.
So, Tommy, that mat, it's pretty neat. Where can you use it in the house? Anywhere?
You can use it on any interior wall.
Interior. So you can use it in a shower, wet area.
Absolutely, on a wet area, but they recommend that you use this tape right here to go over the seams to seal them.
Nice. I like that.
Now, when you put the tile on, how forgiving is it? Once you stick it, is it there for good?
All right, well, this is sticky. I just put this down. See my finger sticking to it? All right, now, if I was to position this tile on here and I positioned it wrong,
Like Kevin would.
all right, I can move it. I can reposition it, line it up, make sure it's spaced correctly, check it one more time, and then I just push on it. All right, now that I've applied pressure, it won't come off.
It's there for good.
The longer the tile is on the wall, the better it sticks.
That is really cool.
Hey, Tom, didn't have to make a lot of cuts on that job, huh?
No, we only had to make 4 end cuts. It was pretty easy.
But I noticed you used the wet saw.
Wet saw is great. It's very versatile. I mean, I could make a cut using the nipper, but another option is using the scoring tool, where you place the tile underneath it and you score it with a carbide roller, run it down, let a little pressure, then you press down on it, and the little benders will snap the tile.
Look at that, right? And then once you've got that cut edge, you can actually take a stone and you can smooth that off. You get a nice smooth finish.
That's right, looks good.
Yeah, it works good on tile, but it will not work on stone.
No, the scoring tool will not work on different types of stone and slate. A wet saw is great for all kinds of stone. Now, let's say I wanted to make a cut like this around an outlet or a pipe. I could nip away at that with my nippers and work my way in like that, slowly taking the pieces. But if I took off too big of a piece, I could ruin that tile. That's where a wet saw is really handy.
Look at that. Nothing beats a wet saw. And a basic wet saw is less than $100 now.
Can't go wrong.
All right. Good information, guys. Thank you. And until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Roger Cook.
I'm Richard Dewey.
And I'm Tom Silver.
For Ask This Old House. Nice job. Next time on Ask This Old House.
What I want to do is I want to push it right into the wet mortar. Like that. Push it right in there. That'll pack it in tight. I have a few pointers for fixing up an old fieldstone foundation. And I think this section of the wall is good for another 100 years.
And if you don't install fiberglass insulation correctly, you can reduce its efficiency by up to 30%. So we're going to show you how to do it right. Next time on Ask This Old House. Ask This Old House has much more to show you. To see entire episodes anytime, just go to video.pbs.org. This Old House magazine, the companion to the television series, provides advice from our experts that you've come to know. You can use your credit card to order 10 monthly issues for $10. Just call 1-800-221-5900.